Hey guys! So yes, I'm finally doing YouTube. You guys have been very impatiently waiting for this. Understandable though. If you follow me on TikTok, then you know I just got a new bird named Comet, and I'm going to be showing you how to tame him. My original plan for this video was to actually walk you guys through the taming process and showing you guys me taming him, but I never did that. But anyways, let's get started. So before we get into how to actually tame a bird, let's talk about what to do when you first bring your bird home. So when you first bring your bird home, you're not going to do anything with them. You want them to get used to their new environment. They just had a pretty scary trip. Let them get used to their cage and their surroundings. Do whatever it is you usually do in your room, whether it be watching TV, reading a book, or playing video games. Now, some things that might help your bird calm down are playing music for them. This might sound weird, but I found that birds usually like Billie Eilish, Cave Town, and Dodie, whatever her name is. I also really strongly recommend leaving a treat in there for your bird, such as millet. One thing you don't want to do when you first bring your bird home is stare directly at them. Birds are prey animals, and if you start checking them out for too long, they are going to get the wrong idea and be more scared of you. And that's really about it for when you first bring them home. Just pretty much pretend they're not there. Alright, so now let's go over and I'll show you how to actually tame a bird. Alright guys, so here I am over here with Comet. Now training is going to start the very next day you get your bird. Some people argue that that is too early. I would argue that it's not. It really depends on your bird though. If you notice that your bird is extremely uncomfortable with starting this early, I would definitely wait a little longer. We're going to start off with small interactions for now. Now when I say small interactions, I mean gently brushing your hand against the cage, feeding them millet through the cage bars, singing to them, talking to them. Still don't want to make that eye contact though. Also want to start leaving the cage door open for 15 minutes at a time, at least twice a day. So hopefully get them to come out on their own. If they come out on their own, they'll be a lot more comfortable. You can lure them out by placing things like millet or toys on top of their cage. If they don't come out on their own though, it's not a big deal. It would just be a lot more helpful when it comes to taking your bird out of the cage on your hand. Now once your bird is comfortable with these small interactions, typically once they're comfortable with feeding millet through the bars of the cage, you can start moving on to step 2. Step 2, we are going to put our hand in the cage with the millet. You want to keep your hand at the very end of the stick so that they can eat far away from your hand as possible. And then slowly over time, start inching your hand closer and closer to them so that they get comfortable with your hand. If you start to notice that they are getting uncomfortable past a certain distance, go back a little and just try again later. Okay, so once your bird is comfortable with eating millet out of your hand, with your hand being generally pretty close, you're going to try to get them to step up onto your hand. You can do this by gently rubbing their belly. Do not push on them, just gently rub it. Or you can make it so they have to hop on your hand to get the millet by just holding millet like this and making it a short distance that they have to jump on your hand to get to the tree. Once you can get your bird onto your hand, don't move, don't freak out, just let them sit there. You want them to get really invested into eating the treat on your hand. Once you see that they're really invested into eating the treat, you can start slowly taking your hand out of the cage. Now while doing this, if your bird gets scared and flies back into the cage, that is perfectly fine. Just get them back onto your hand, let them calm down, get invested into eating the treat, and try again. And you're just going to keep trying this until they are comfortable with coming out. And boom, you got your bird out of the cage and onto your hand. Now you're going to start the bonding process to where you actually get them to like you. There's a few ways to bond. This right here is bonding. A few of the best ways to bond with your bird is 1, just letting them sit on your hand and eat treats. 2, including them in everything you do, even if it's just sitting on your shoulder. And 3, which is probably the best way to bond with your bird, is training. I personally like to use recall training, but you can start with anything like target training, spin training, wave, or any of that. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!